Okay, welcome back. We did a great job with the helping me out, the videography, and put together a great thing with the Pride music. Rocco Pasafumi, he's back to doing his movie review.
Thank you.
And we call it
Around the Movie Block with The Rock.
Here he is, Rocco Pasafumi.
Thank you very much, Howie. The movie I have for you this week is the currently most popular movie out right now. It is none other than Toy Story 4. It is directed by Josh Cooley. It centers around a new toy named Forky, created as a school project. And he joins Woody and the gang on a road trip alongside all the new friends. And it reveals just how big the world can be for a toy. The incredible thing about Toy Story, unlike so many of these film franchises, is that every single movie, regardless of whether you think that another movie really is warranted, Pixar has always stepped up to the plate and delivered a great movie and really made the argument for why each new movie is a worthy addition, I should say, to the series. And I was pretty skeptical at first about Toy Story 4, but then again, I was pretty skeptical. I'm pretty skeptical about sequels in general, but with every Toy Story sequel, they have managed to exceed my expectations, and I can't believe them. This expectations are once again exceeded with this movie. This is the fourth movie in this, and I think what really makes this particularly good, one, you have the cast, the great cast is back, whether it's Tom Hanks or Tim Allen. I think having the essential cast there, Pixar and Disney in general, they know how to put great actors into these movies. I mean, not all of them are stars, so to speak, but it's all about the talent first rather than the name recognition. And I think that's, there's a lot of chemistry, obviously, with these actors. But what's great about this one is that it really shows how even with the way the Toy Story story is going, it definitely shows that there's still a lot of meaning and a lot of heart to these movies, particularly with the story around Forky, about, a toy that's like a very different type of toy versus, the store-bought toys that the main characters of Toy Story are. I think it takes a lot of really hard creativity to really add to this, already established world. And, just the basic beat of having it be a road movie, I think definitely helps, to create the basic adventure of the whole thing. And, it has to be handed to Pixar that regardless of where they've gone with their other movies, I mean, some of them have been great, some of them have been only okay, but Toy Story has still been their gold standard for their movies. And I'm just beyond impressed with how, they managed to keep Toy Story just a fantastic story, and I mean it's becoming more of a rarity with Hollywood movies because we've seen so many sequels and so many a lot of the time that don't feel like they really can justify themselves. And Toy Story has managed to do that again and again and again. And it's hard to really say this without really giving too much away on it, honestly. So I really feel like people really have to see it for themselves and just I mean, even if you're not a kid, this is just a great movie altogether, and it really shows just how great character development and great storytelling can really transcend any kind of potential sequelitis when it comes to a movie. So I really do feel like Toy Story 4 is not only just great entertainment, it's definitely worth seeing in general. It's just a great piece of storytelling in Hollywood film, and like I said, that's becoming more and more of a rarity. So I give Toy Story 4 a perfect 5 out of 5 stars.
I gotta get in here and say, Rocco's been with me for many years,
yes.
And I think, and if my memory serves me correctly, I think this is the first time Rocco ever gave a movie a 5.
Unfortunately, that's not, the case. I've done it maybe 3 or 4 times.
I can't remember.
Not a lot of times, though. I'm very restricted, and I do not play favorites. I always, 2 of them happen to be Pixar movies. The other one I remember, was for Inside Out. But Pixar is just ridiculously brilliant.
I'm getting kind of old, so maybe I forget. But this is the first time I've...
No, but it's a rarity. I will give you that much. It is an absolute rarity, and I do not make my judgments lightly. I try very, very hard to really think about this and not kind of be hyperbolic when I do this. And I really do feel like this was just this. When I do a movie and I give it a perfect score, it has really exceeded my expectations. And this is a sequel. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the original origin story of this. So that in itself is also pretty astounding. So, you know, but it's well deserved, and I feel like Brandon will definitely add to why that is.
Rocco, thank you so much for bringing me up here to talk about Toy Story 4. I grew up on these movies. I think a lot of people have. Not you, Howie, but I'm sure you've seen the movies and loved them. Who hasn't?
Honestly, no, but that's okay.
Okay, we're going to ignore that.
Absolutely.
And we'll go right to my opinions of Toy Story. No, Toy Story 3, I remember seeing that in theaters with my family. After years of not having a Toy Story, and it blew our minds. It was deep. It said a lot about growing up. It had such an emotional ending, and yet it felt like an ending, very conclusive, like we don't need another Toy Story. So when they announced that they were going to make a Toy Story 4 years ago, I was upset. I wasn't happy. I made fun of it thinking it would be a rom-com with Bo Peep and Woody. But going into it now, I went with my best bud, Scott. We also do a radio show, Nonsense News Nation. I check it out, it's on WGBB. Anywho, we saw it together, and we ended up shedding a tear together because the movie was beautiful. It was super funny. It found a way to continue the story when you didn't think it can get continued, just so naturally. The new characters were excellent. Forky, excellent. Ducky and Bunny, hilarious. Key and Peele, obviously. Duke Kaboom, Keanu Reeves, he's just killing it this year. And they really improved Bo Peep's character, and the antagonist, Gabby, you're gonna find out there's a little more to her, and it's really superb. And by the end, you're gonna laugh, and you may shed a tear like I did, like my friend Scott did, Rocco probably did.
Yes, I did, for sure.
So honestly, Rocco gave it a 5 out of 5?
Yes.
I hate to be a copycat, but I may have to do the same. Toy Story 4 doesn't get a 4 out of 5, it gets a 5 out of 5. So that's my opinion.
All right, Brandon's echoing Rocco. So guys, go see Toy Story 4. You'll love it. Okay, we wrap our show today, and our show included, I usually don't get that animated when I talk about sports, but I think you'll, especially if you don't like the Knicks and you don't like the Boston Red Sox, you will like my segment, because I talked about a double humiliation weekend for the Red Sox and the Knicks. The Red Sox got humiliated by the Yankees in London, allowing 29 runs in 2 games. And this is today will live in infamy for Knicks fans, because not only did the 2 superstars, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, not sign with the Knicks, but they signed with the Brooklyn Nets, who were 4 miles away, just totally humiliating the Knicks, that these 2 superstars are going to be in New York, but not playing in the Mecca, Madison Square Garden, but playing at the Barclays Center with the Nets. So, tremendously humiliating day. But anyway, on a more positive note, what a great show we had today. The icon, Harvey Wiesenberg, talked about getting a prestigious honor up in Albany from the New York State Assembly and New York State Senate for 67 years of dedicated service. And Harvey, nobody could have wrapped up and talked about in detail and with passion about the recent Long Beach water crisis. Harvey talked about that in detail, and he also talked about his love for Channel 13 and the great public service that they do. And Harvey also talked about a very important bill he wrote about why you shouldn't text and drive. So Harvey was great with the Harvey Wiesenberg perspective. And our regulars, Rocco Pasafumi, loved Toy Story 4, and even Brandon Ellis chimed in on that. And then Brandon Ellis knocked it out of the park again with his Stargazer and his hit list. And then at the very end of the show, Rocco Pasafumi did a comparison with the new Coke, and the Coke, and did a comparison, and it was very, very enlightening. And who knows, maybe that video will go viral. So very interesting comparison, Coke and new. And I will say this, I've always liked Coke much better than Pepsi. I can't stand the taste of Pepsi, so Coke, you're number one as far as soft drinks in my book. And with that, let me wrap. And then also, at the end of June, let me say Happy Pride Month to those who celebrated Pride. Hope they enjoyed and had a great month of June. And let me wrap with this. My name is Halftime. Well, behave your time. Please join us next Sunday edition of Halftime. But at this time, we are out of time. See you next Sunday.